Every year is a new opportunity, a fresh chapter, but so often we allow them to slip by unnoticed. We get caught in routines, excuses, and fears, allowing time to pass without making meaningful changes. The truth is, we are all capable of creating the life we desire, but too often we let the weight of our doubts keep us stuck in a place of inertia. But today I want to remind you, you are the author of your story. The time you have is precious, and while you can't turn back the clock, you can decide how the next chapter unfolds. Don't let the fear of what could go wrong overshadow the possibilities of what could go right. One of the most empowering truths you can embrace in life is that you are the author of your own story. Too often we fall into the trap of thinking that life happens to us, that we are just passengers, carried along by the circumstances and decisions of others. We let external factors dictate how we feel about ourselves, how we react to challenges, and how we envision our future. But here's the thing, you are not a bystander. You are the creator of your life. The narrative you've been living may be shaped by experiences, beliefs, and influences from others, but it's still yours to control. You have the power to rewrite the chapters, to shift the direction, and to choose the path you walk. This might feel daunting at first, especially if you've spent years believing that your choices are limited or that your past defines you. But the truth is, every single moment is an opportunity to choose again, to write a new sentence, to take a different step. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of other people's expectations and opinions. Maybe you've allowed the doubts of others to determine what you think is possible for yourself. Or perhaps you've been stuck in a cycle of self-criticism, believing that you don't have what it takes to create the life you really want. But let me tell you this, the story you've been living doesn't have to be the story that you continue. You have the ability to take control of your narrative. The moment you start making choices based on your values and your desires, you begin to craft a life that reflects who you truly are. It's not about waiting for permission or for some external force to give you the green light. It's about embracing the fact that you are enough as you are, and you are capable of making the changes that align with your heart and soul. You don't need to wait for things to change around you before you make the changes within you. In fact, change often starts from the inside out. When you start owning your story, acknowledging your past, embracing your strengths, and taking responsibility for where you're going, you free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations and the fear of what might happen if things don't go as planned. You become the person who is in charge of their own life. It's also important to understand that owning your story doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean that you have to have it all figured out or that you must have everything under control. Owning your story means being willing to face the uncomfortable truths, to accept that there will be challenges, and to continue moving forward even when things don't go as planned. It means giving yourself permission to stumble, to fail, to make mistakes, and still believe in your ability to rise again. When you take control of your story, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance. You stop waiting for someone else to give you a reason to believe in your worth. Instead, you begin to see yourself as someone who is capable of taking bold, courageous steps no matter how uncertain the path may seem. You can always rewrite your story. You can always start anew. And each new chapter you write will be more aligned with who you truly are, what you value, and what you're capable of achieving. The key is to trust that you have the power to shape your destiny. You get to decide how the next chapter of your life unfolds. Every thought, every action, and every decision you make is part of your story. So choose wisely, choose what empowers you. Choose what makes you feel alive, what fills you with purpose, and what pushes you to grow. It's time to take the pen back. Don't let anyone else hold it for you. Don't let your past mistakes, your doubts, or your fears keep you from writing the next great chapter of your life. The power to create the life you want has always been in your hands. And now it's time to take ownership of it. Fear has a way of sneaking into our lives, often without us even realizing it. It whispers in the quiet moments when we're considering taking a risk, trying something new, or stepping outside of our comfort zone. It tells us that we aren't ready, that we aren't capable, and that we should play it safe. It paralyzes us into inaction, making us question ourselves and our abilities. Fear can be incredibly convincing, often wearing the mask of caution or concern, when in reality it's holding us back from the very growth we desire. But here's the truth: fear is not the boss of you. Fear does not get to dictate your actions, your dreams, or your potential. You are the one in control of your life, and you have the power to decide whether fear is going to rule over you or whether you're going to rise above it. The thing about fear is that it's natural. It's a part of being human. We all experience fear in one form or another. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. These fears are valid. They're rooted in our instinct to protect ourselves, to keep us from harm. But they don't have to control us. Fear, while it might try to hold us back, can also be a sign that we're on the edge of something important. It's often the indicator that we're pushing beyond what's comfortable, that we're stepping into new territory, that we're about to grow. The challenge is not to eliminate fear, but to not let it stop us. If we let fear make our decisions, we end up living in a state of constant hesitation. We avoid taking risks. We hold back our true selves. We limit our potential. But living like this isn't living, it's merely existing. You have a choice. You can acknowledge fear when it arises and then choose to move forward anyway. Fear might show up, but you don't have to give it the power to control your actions. Just because fear is present doesn't mean it should be given the authority to dictate your behavior. In fact, when you start making fear your ally instead of your enemy, you'll notice a shift. You'll see that fear doesn't have to be something that stands in your way. It can be a reminder of the courage you need to summon. Fear can be the signpost that you are on the edge of something meaningful. Every time you take action in spite of fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought, that you are capable of handling what comes next. There's a powerful truth in this: fear is only as powerful as you let it be. The more you let fear dictate your actions, the more control it has over your life. But when you start stepping forward in spite of fear, when you stop waiting for fear to go away before you take action, you begin to dismantle its power. You start to realize that you don't have to wait until you feel completely fearless to act. In fact, it's often when we take action in the face of fear that we discover our true strength. It's important to understand that fear will always be a companion on your journey. It might show up in different ways at different times, but it doesn't go away. The difference lies in how you choose to respond to it. You can allow fear to keep you small, to keep you stuck, to keep you from reaching your full potential. Or you can choose to recognize it, acknowledge it, and then continue moving forward anyway. The more you face your fears and push through them, the less power they hold over you. Fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a catalyst for growth. It's a sign that you are on the edge of something new, something that might stretch you, challenge you, and help you evolve into the person you're meant to become. And when you take that step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. There's one simple yet profound truth you must hold onto: you are stronger than your fear. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you reclaim your power. You prove that fear doesn't get to dictate your life. You are in control. When fear comes knocking, let it remind you that you're on the verge of something important. Don't give it the authority to stop you from moving forward. Take the step, make the decision, believe in your ability to handle whatever comes next. The world is waiting for you to show up, and fear is just a passing visitor. You, my friend, are the one who gets to decide how your story unfolds. So don't let fear be the boss of you. Take charge and lead your life with courage. Regret is a heavy, burdensome emotion. It creeps into our minds, often uninvited, and sits there, pressing on our hearts. It's a weight we carry without realizing how much it drains us, how much it holds us back from moving forward, and how much it keeps us stuck in the past. We regret choices we've made, paths we didn't take, things we said, or things we left unsaid. We regret mistakes, missed opportunities, and actions that we wish we could undo. We let regret shape how we see ourselves, often leading us to question our worth, our abilities, and our potential. But here's the truth: regret is a weight you don't need to carry. You don't have to keep dragging it along with you. It doesn't serve you, and it certainly doesn't help you become the person you want to be. While regret may feel like a companion in the moment, it's a companion that keeps you locked in a cycle of self-blame and dissatisfaction. It's like carrying a heavy backpack full of stones, each one representing a past decision or mistake. The longer you carry it, the more it weighs you down. And the longer you carry it, the more it prevents you from moving forward. It's important to understand that regret is often a product of looking back. We often focus on what we wish we had done differently, and we allow that reflection to steal our present joy and potential. But the reality is we can't change the past. It's done. What we can change, however, is how we move forward, how we learn from those experiences, how we choose to grow from them instead of being defined by them. Regret can be a powerful teacher if we allow it to be. If we choose to look at our regrets not as failures but as lessons, we can release their hold on us. We can begin to shift our mindset from "I wish I hadn't done that" to "What can I learn from this?" This is where the power lies, not in replaying the past, but in taking the wisdom it offers and using it to guide us forward. Regret, when left unchecked, can lead to shame. Shame tells us that because we made a mistake or missed an opportunity, we are somehow unworthy. It convinces us that we are defined by our past actions. But the truth is, you are not your regrets. Your past does not define you. What defines you is what you choose to do with the lessons learned, the wisdom gained, and the opportunity to keep moving forward. You are always in the process of becoming, and that process doesn't stop because of a mistake or a missed chance. It only stops when you let it. Letting go of regret is not about forgetting the past or pretending it didn't happen. It's about accepting that the past is behind you and that it no longer has control over your present. It's about learning how to release the weight of what could have been and instead focusing on what can be. It's about giving yourself permission to move forward without the burden of past mistakes weighing you down. One of the most freeing things you can do for yourself is to forgive yourself for the things you regret. Self-forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what you've done, but it means acknowledging that you are human, that you are doing your best, and that you deserve to move forward with compassion and grace. Forgiveness frees you from the grip of regret. It allows you to accept your imperfections and understand that your mistakes do not diminish your value. They are simply part of your journey. There's a freedom that comes from letting go of regret. It's the freedom to make different choices, to take risks, and to grow without being weighed down by past decisions. When we free ourselves from regret, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We stop living in the shadow of what could have been and start embracing the beauty of what is and what could be. We begin to see that every day is a new chance to live with intention, to make choices that align with who we are becoming, and to create a future that excites us. As you move forward in life, remember that the weight of regret only holds you back if you let it. You are not your mistakes. You are not the things you didn't do. You are not the decisions you regret. You are the person you choose to become each day, and that person is capable, worthy, and powerful. Let go of the weight of regret. Release it so you can step into the future with lightness and freedom. It's time to stop dragging the past behind you. Let the lessons you've learned guide you, but don't let them be the chains that hold you back. The past is just the past. What matters now is what you do with the present and how you choose to create a future free from the burden of regret. The time to let go is now, and the time to move forward is today. Action is everything. It is the bridge between intention and reality. Without action, our dreams, goals, and desires remain just that, dreams. Action is the force that transforms ideas into something tangible, that turns hopes into achievements, and that moves us from where we are to where we want to be. Yet, despite knowing how essential it is, action is often the most challenging part of the process. We get caught in a cycle of overthinking, planning, and waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. But here's the thing, there is no perfect moment. The power of action lies in the simple act of moving forward, no matter how uncertain the path may seem. When you take action, you're actively choosing to move toward the life you want to create. Action is the key that unlocks doors, that opens up opportunities, and that pushes you past your fears and doubts. It's the commitment to doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel ready, even when you're unsure of the outcome. Because in truth, the only way to truly understand what's possible is to start doing. Action is where the magic happens. It's the catalyst for growth, the source of transformation, and the fuel that propels you toward success. Too often, we become trapped in the cycle of thinking without doing. We dream of the life we want, we envision the future we desire, but we don't take the necessary steps to make it a reality. We get stuck in the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, or the fear of things not going as planned. We let perfectionism paralyze us, convincing ourselves that unless everything is aligned perfectly, we should wait. But this waiting, this hesitation, is what keeps us stuck in place. The reality is there is no such thing as the perfect time to start. There is no moment when everything will magically fall into place, when all the stars will align, and when you will suddenly feel fully prepared and confident. That moment may never come, and if you wait for it, you'll find yourself standing still year after year while life moves on without you. The truth is, waiting for everything to be perfect is a form of self-sabotage. It's a way of avoiding the discomfort that comes with taking risks and stepping into the unknown. The power of action comes from taking that first step, even when you're unsure, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you feel uncertain and vulnerable. The act of starting is what breaks the inertia and sets the wheels of progress in motion. Once you begin, momentum builds. Each small action you take leads to the next. Each decision propels you forward. And before you know it, the path you once saw as overwhelming and impossible is now clear because you're actively walking it. This doesn't mean that action will always be easy or that things will always go according to plan. In fact, most of the time it's the opposite. There will be setbacks, there will be setbacks, there will be obstacles, there will be mistakes, and there will be times when things don't work out the way you hoped. But this is all part of the process. Action is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about being willing to learn from your mistakes, to adapt, to keep moving forward, even when things don't go as expected. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They are the ones who keep taking action, regardless of the setbacks. Another powerful aspect of action is that it builds confidence. The more you act, the more you see that you are capable. Each time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes next. Confidence doesn't come from sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen. It comes from stepping into the arena, from doing the work, from showing up day after day. The act of doing teaches you that you are resourceful, that you have the strength to overcome challenges, and that you are more capable than you give yourself credit for. Inaction, on the other hand, often leads to regret. When you don't act on your dreams, when you don't take the steps needed to create the life you want, you begin to wonder what if. You wonder what could have been if you had taken that leap, if you had been brave enough to start, if you had believed in yourself enough to take that first step. Inaction leads to stagnation, to the slow erosion of your self-esteem, and to the crushing realization that you let fear, doubt, and uncertainty hold you back. But when you take action, you are choosing to move beyond your comfort zone. You are deciding that your dreams are worth more than your fears. You are choosing to create the life you want, regardless of how imperfect it may seem at first. You are actively writing your story, step by step, and even if you stumble along the way, you are still moving forward. The power of action is undeniable. It is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's what turns vision into reality, ideas into accomplishments, and fear into confidence. It's what gives you the momentum to keep going even when things get tough. And most importantly, it's what allows you to live a life that is fully aligned with your potential, your values, and your purpose. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop overthinking and second guessing yourself. Take that first step, make that phone call, start that project, write that book, create that opportunity. Whatever it is that you've been putting off, take action now. The power you seek is in the action you take. It's in the courage to move forward, even when you don't have all the answers, and the trust that the steps will reveal themselves as you go. Every small action you take today leads to a bigger one tomorrow, and before you know it, the life you've always dreamed of will be yours, not because you waited for it to happen, but because you made it happen through the power of your actions. Take that first step, and never underestimate the power of what you can achieve when you simply choose to move. We live in a world that often tries to define our worth based on external measures, our achievements, our appearance, our social status, or the validation we receive from others. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we must constantly prove ourselves, that we must earn our place, or that we must somehow be perfect to deserve love, respect, and success. But the truth is, you don't need to earn your worth. You are worth the effort simply because you exist. You are worthy because you are a human being with inherent value, and you are deserving of love, care, and respect, regardless of where you are in your journey or what you've accomplished. The truth about worth is that it isn't something that can be quantified. It isn't based on your job title, the number of followers you have, or the opinions of others. Your worth is intrinsic. It comes from the simple fact that you are you. You are worthy of kindness, of respect, of time, of love. But here's where the challenge lies. While others may not always see your worth or recognize it, you must believe in your own worth. And that belief starts with the effort you give to yourself. Self-worth isn't something that comes easily for many of us. We are often taught to be humble, to downplay our strengths, or to diminish our own needs in favor of others. We think that we must prove ourselves in order to be worthy of success, relationships, or happiness. But what we fail to realize is that the first step in achieving any of these things is understanding and believing that we are already worthy of them, just as we are. And that belief, it comes from the effort we put into valuing ourselves. Taking the time to invest in yourself, whether that's through self-care, personal growth, or pursuing your dreams, is not selfish. It's essential. You are worth the effort it takes to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. You are worth the time it takes to explore your passions, to step outside your comfort zone, and to make the changes that align with your highest good. The effort you put into taking care of yourself, loving yourself, and believing in yourself is not only deserved but necessary for you to live the life you truly want. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and massages, although those are wonderful ways to recharge. True self-care involves setting boundaries that protect your peace, choosing relationships that uplift you, and forgiving yourself when you fall short. It's about giving yourself permission to be imperfect and knowing that you are still enough. It's about being honest with yourself about your needs, your desires, and your worth, and making sure your actions align with those truths. The effort to care for yourself is never wasted. It's the effort that allows you to heal from past wounds, to build resilience in the face of adversity, and to stand firm in your authenticity. When you take care of your physical and emotional well-being, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of that care. When you make time for your dreams and passions, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of pursuing what sets your soul on fire. You are worthy of success, of happiness, of fulfillment, and the effort you put into cultivating those things is not only a reflection of your worth, but a celebration of it. But sometimes the hardest part of believing that you are worth the effort is getting rid of the self-doubt and negative beliefs that hold you back. The world is full of messages that tell us we're not good enough, that we need to be more, do more, or have more to be worthy. But all of those messages are lies. Your worth isn't dependent on your accomplishments, your appearance, or how others see you. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone because you are already enough. When you recognize your own worth, you give yourself permission to take risks, to fail, and to rise again. You allow yourself to go after what you truly want without fear of judgment or failure. The more you put in the effort to love yourself, the more you begin to see that you are deserving of all the good things life has to offer. You stop holding back, you stop shrinking, you stop apologizing for wanting more, for asking for more, and for taking up space. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're worth it because you already know, you understand that your worth is inherent. It's not something that can be given to you or taken away. Investing in yourself is a powerful act of self-respect. It's the recognition that your dreams are just as important as anyone else's. It's choosing to take the time, the energy, and the resources to nurture your growth and happiness. It's acknowledging that you are the most important person in your own life and that you deserve the very best. When you believe that you are worth the effort, your life begins to change in beautiful ways. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop staying in toxic relationships or unhealthy environments. You stop compromising your values for the sake of approval or acceptance. You start to make choices that align with your truth, your passions, and your purpose. The effort you put into yourself is the effort that shapes the life you live. Remember, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of success. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of happiness. And most importantly, you are worthy of the effort it takes to achieve all of these things. The next time you question your worth, remember this: you do not need to prove yourself to anyone. Your worth is already established just by being you. So give yourself the gift of believing in your own worth. Put in the effort to care for yourself, to love yourself, and to go after the life you deserve. You are worth every ounce of effort you give and more. And the world will be better for it. As the new year approaches, there's often a sense of excitement, anticipation, and yes, even pressure to make the coming year better than the last. We set resolutions, we make promises to ourselves, and we imagine all the ways this year will be different. But what if this time, instead of just dreaming about change, we truly commit to it? What if this year wasn't just another year that passed by with fleeting intentions and empty promises? What if this year was the one that truly marked a transformation in how we approach life, our goals, and ourselves? The first step in making this year different is realizing that change isn't something that happens overnight. Change is a process, and it requires intention. It requires commitment. It requires action. And it requires understanding that the only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be is the choices you make today. The difference between a year that feels stagnant and a year that feels transformative comes down to how much effort you're willing to put into breaking old habits, stepping out of your comfort zone, and creating the life you desire. Start by examining your mindset. So often we limit ourselves by the stories we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves that we're too old, too young, too inexperienced, or too stuck in our ways to change. We convince ourselves that we've missed our chance, that life has already happened for us. But this is a lie. You are never too late to start over, to make a new choice, or to take a new direction. The idea that you are stuck is simply an illusion. The power of transformation lies in your willingness to question the beliefs that no longer serve you and replace them with ones that empower you to act. This year, choose to believe that change is possible for you, no matter what your past has looked like. The second key to making this year different is the willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. The weight of past disappointments, failures, and regrets can be overwhelming. We carry them with us, and they often shape our present actions. But the truth is, the past only has the power you give it. You do not have to continue to carry the burden of things you cannot change. Let go of the toxic relationships that drain you. Let go of the bad habits that keep you from becoming the person you want to be. Let go of the limiting beliefs that have held you back for far too long. Let go of the fear of failure that paralyzes you from even trying. This year, make the conscious decision to free yourself from the emotional baggage that prevents you from moving forward. Then make space for new growth. This means being open to the unknown, being willing to step outside of what feels safe and familiar. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you push yourself to try new things, to learn new skills, and to face challenges head on. This year, commit to doing things that scare you. Commit to taking risks. Whether it's pursuing that dream job, starting a new creative project, or building relationships that inspire and challenge you, the only way to expand your life is by stepping outside the boundaries of what you think is possible. Another critical part of making this year different is learning how to prioritize what matters most. Too often, we get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life, chasing after things that ultimately don't fulfill us. We spread ourselves thin, saying yes to everything, trying to please everyone, and neglecting the things that truly bring us joy and satisfaction. This year, make a commitment to your own well-being. Focus on the relationships that nurture you, the work that ignites your passion, and the activities that restore your energy. Learn to say no to the things that drain you. Prioritize your time and energy to align with what truly matters to you. When you focus on what's important and let go of distractions, you give yourself the chance to live a life that feels intentional, fulfilling, and aligned with your purpose. One of the most powerful things you can do to make this year different is to take consistent action. It's easy to get stuck in the planning phase, in the dreaming phase, or in the idea phase, but nothing changes until you take action. The key to transformation is movement toward your goals, toward your dreams, and toward the person you want to become. But action doesn't have to be big or overwhelming. It can be small, daily steps that add up over time. It's about committing to making progress, no matter how slow it may seem. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. And when you focus on taking action, even when you feel uncertain or afraid, you will begin to see the momentum build in your life. Small actions lead to bigger results. This year is also about learning to trust the process. We live in a culture that craves instant results, that wants everything right now. But the reality is, most things worth having take time. Success, growth, and fulfillment don't happen overnight. They happen through consistent effort, patience, and resilience. This year, choose to trust that every effort you put forth, even when it doesn't yield immediate results, is moving you closer to your goals. Trust that even in moments of doubt or uncertainty, you are still on the right path. Trust that when you persist, you will see the fruits of your labor in due time. The final step in making this year different is to embrace the power of self-compassion. Change is hard, growth is messy, and sometimes you will stumble. But that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The process of transformation involves moments of success and moments of setback. Both are necessary. This year, be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned, when you make mistakes, or when you face challenges. Understand that self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about treating yourself with the same care, understanding, and encouragement that you would give to a friend. When you practice self-compassion, you give yourself the space to grow, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep going, even when it's hard. Making this year different isn't about achieving perfection or setting impossible standards. It's about committing to the process of becoming. It's about giving yourself permission to evolve, to try new things, and to step into the unknown with courage. It's about letting go of the past, embracing the present, and moving toward the future with intention. So as you step into this year, remember that the power to make it different lies within you. It's in your actions, your choices, your mindset, and your willingness to embrace the unknown. And with each small step you take, you'll begin to create the life you've always wanted, one day at a time. As you stand on the threshold of this new year, remember that you hold the power to make it different. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or for everything to fall into place. It's about taking intentional steps every single day, no matter how small they may seem. Let go of what no longer serves you. Trust the process and embrace the discomfort of growth. Prioritize what truly matters and be kind to yourself as you navigate the journey. Change isn't immediate, but with consistent effort, dedication, and self-compassion, you will create the life you've always dreamed of. This year, choose to invest in yourself. Choose to break free from the limitations of the past and build a future that aligns with your true potential. Your time is now.